Let's look at international news now, where U.S. President Donald Trump recently announced the suspension of financial aid to South Africa, citing concerns over land expropriation policies and the alleged discrimination against white farmers. Now, this decision raises questions about the future of U.S. South Africa trade relations, which have historically been strong. And to further unpack the potential economic impact, let's now speak to publisher Mr. Abbey Makoe. Abbey, great having you with us. A very good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for having me.
Abbey, look, let's start with this executive order. Talk us through it. Firstly, let's outline how this decision would have been taken without proper consultation, particularly from the South African government.
They don't need any consultation with South African government to take that kind of a decision. Absolutely not, because it's within their prerogative, it's within their purview. The information that they have is that white Afrikaner farmers in South Africa are under siege.
Where did they get that information?
And it doesn't matter where they get the information from, but what we know is, on the basis of the evidence that we have, is that go back a little bit prior to, let's say, for an example, May 2029 elections.
Yes.
Remember the campaign message of even the DA itself. The DA had painted a picture of Soort-Gevaar, and I'm using Soort-Gevaar just to borrow it from the 80s apartheid-era government, because the resonation is almost similar, if not identical. Because what the DA was then saying was, any cooperation on the left of our politics, ANC, EFF and MK Party, they described it, remember, coalition, Doomsday coalition. That's what they said. So that kind of a message cannot be missed in its essence and its meaning. Secondly, you've got AfriForum, Solidarity, the kind of messaging that they have been sending out. And Solidarity and AfriForum, they've been going abroad to go and speak about the plight
since 2019.
Absolutely. So it has been taking place over a long period of time.
And Trump was still president back then.
And now, what makes this worse is that Trump has got now his chief lieutenant, Elon Musk, who is also a South African by birth. Now, and Elon Musk, you can see a successful US dollar billionaire who has not had much to do with South Africa in terms of development as an individual.
True.
And now I'm not faulting him for behaving the way he does. However, his close proximity to President Donald Trump also cannot be mistaken for the kind of messaging from the ground in South Africa, the white community in particular, but also to the ear of Donald Trump. And this is exactly why I'm saying Washington under Trump does not need any mitigating factors from South Africa. What we do and what we must do as the government now is to make sure that we retain our humility and we become firm and resolute in communicating the truth, that everything that they're basing their decision on is untrue, is false, is irrational. And we can only do that by putting facts on the table. I realize that the DA has distanced itself from the...
But what is it going to change then, Abbey? Because the damage has already been done, essentially.
The damage can still be undone. It's never too late in politics. Because if the DA, if Agri-SA then come out publicly to say, no, we are all right in South Africa, what President Trump is saying is not true, we must then, especially because DA is part of the GNU,
yes,
we must use them to the advantage of the country in the GNU and say, you go and tell them. Tell them that your people, your constituency is not threatened in South Africa. So that we can say to them, you heard it from the horse's mouth.
You know, That's what I wanted to ask AB there. Then what do you make of the provisions that Trump made for those Afrikaners whose land is being supposedly confiscated and grabbed and are being discriminated against, to offer them refugee status? Can South Africa, under the GNU, still maintain the status quo where supremacist views as well as behavior still persist?
The founding principles of the New South Africa by Mandela and our founding foremothers and fathers.
Anti-racial, equal society.
Absolutely. Now, you have a situation where some section of our society has decided to take its own way. I'm saying we must never give up on anybody in South Africa.
But how do we deal with that certain group?
We deal with it through engagement. The minute AfriForum says they are not responsible for the negative messaging about the country, well, we must use them to set that message straight. Because between the ANC as the main governing party in South Africa, or co-governing party, and the white Afrikaner farmer and their constituency, Washington will listen to the white community and the Afrikaner farmers. So I think what we need to do is this is not time to alienate anybody in South Africa. This is time to put together what is under threat to disintegrate. Because we have invested way too much in building this kind of a new South Africa that we all envisage, imperfect as it is. And it was always going to be like that. We must all aspire, as the president has said repeatedly, to try and do best that we can in order to have a South Africa that we can live and bequeath to the generations to come.
But AB, I mean, very quickly, I mean, we know that this decision wasn't solely about the Afrikaner situation in South Africa. It's about the fact that South Africa took Israel, the biggest ally to the United States, to the ICJ.
Not only that, if we have time, we must also look at the impact of South Africa being part of BRICS, because Washington has not taken too kind to BRICS and its emergence and its power and impact. And South Africa is a key component of BRICS. And not only that, on South African soil, in August 2024, BRICS expanded from only 5 members to 11.
So they were just waiting to yield the eggs, basically.
They have always been wanting to unleash their wrath on South Africa. The only difference is that the previous regime in Washington under Biden was made up of career politicians. And this one is made up of people who don't give a damn about politics. They are all just business people, and their approach to politics is business.